So we're live, right? Good evening, everyone. Viewers at home, in workplace. This is Tech Talk, brought to you by TekTribe. Tech Talk is where we dissect everything about technology, career tools, everything happening in technology, and we oftentimes bring experts, people who we consider successful. In the field of in the field of technology to share their experience, speak to us, answer some of our questions, industry related questions. It's not something. This is not the BBC. It's almost we are going there. It's not BBC, so it's going to be an informal. Informal conversation. So if you have questions as we go, you can send in your questions, and our guests will I'm sure he's happy to answer your questions. So welcome to the show once again. This is where we have conversations with real people who are doing meaningful work and making impact in IT field. And this is a space where we go beyond just the surface into the stories, the lessons, and the experiences that shape what success looks like in IT field. Now, today, I'm really excited to introduce our guest. His name is Divine Odazie. He has been a source of inspiration to me. Divine is an experienced engineer with over 7 years in the industry. He has a very strong background across backend engineering, DevOps, and cloud native technologies, to be precise. He has also served as developer relations. He's not just worked in these spaces. He has made impact at a global level. If you check this LinkedIn, you will know what I'm talking about. He has spoken and led workshops at some of the biggest developer conferences in the world, USA, United Kingdom, Netherlands, all over the world, including he has spoken at KubeCon for Kubernetes. He has spoken at Open Source Summit in Europe. He has spoken at Cloud Native Rejects. He's also spoken at Ansible Contributors Summit. He has shared knowledge, and he has helped hundreds and hundreds of cloud engineers grow, right? And beyond that, uh, Divine is deeply committed to building and supporting the tech ecosystem in Africa and in the world generally. He has played an active role in the cloud native community. He's a KCD organizer, and he continues to support initiatives focused on empowering people across the continent through technology. He's also the founder of Everything DevOps. He helps DevOps companies, cloud companies, he helped them to reach hundreds and thousands of DevOps engineers across the world. If you've never read his newsletter, you should run to Everything DevOps and subscribe. That's where you hear everything about DevOps and platform engineering. So it's nice to have you, Divine. Welcome, and welcome.
And I'm like, hey, how this bio is it real?
Is it really? It's you, things, my brother.
Thank you
you
for
know,
thank you for the introduction. Like this is one of the best introduction I've ever gotten. I appreciate it. I appreciate that, and I'm grateful to be here. I'm honored to be here and to like have these conversations. And they're not really the conversations that are being had on a day to day, right? Well, it's imperative and it's important because there's something I've come to realize: the mindset and the information is much more important than the skills, because that
mm,
mindset and information is the skill itself, right?
yeah,
Is it
yeah, yeah,
itself, right? I know.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Right.
and thank you for the opportunity to be here. Is this streaming live? Because I see someone just asked me the
Yeah,
streaming
it's
on.
streaming. It's streaming live. We are live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube.
Oh,
Live.
wow. Yeah,
We are live.
you're making me
I'm just
popular.
gonna. I'm just going to make me popular. We are tapping out of your grace. I'm just going to share it to
Yeah.
Share it on my LinkedIn now so that people who are watching. It's gonna be a fun, an interesting and educative time. All right. Our audiences are in two groups. We have people who are trying to get into IT.
Okay.
We have people. I mean, three categories actually. People who are trying to transition into IT. We have
Okay.
people uh who have already learned tools, don't take certifications, but they're not able to land a job in IT. And
Okay.
we also have people who are already in IT, but they are not growing, right?
Yeah.
They are not growing, and hence these are conversation why your tech career never took off, right? Now, before we dig deep, diving into
Mm,
conversations about um, why IT career sometimes feel stuck. I want to hear about your journey. You understand? I want to
yeah.
hear about your journey. How you were able to transition in IT, how easy it was for you, or the challenges you encountered.
Mm,
I've seen you done a lot of things. I message. I'm saying it on live stream now, so that it doesn't look like I'm just sending it to you personally. I messaged you about 2 months ago. In our
yeah.
conversation, I said you are one of the persons who has influenced me greatly on LinkedIn. You understand?
Mm,
And we were not even we've not even started speaking when you became a source of inspiration to me. Right now,
wow.
I'm curious to know how you were able to metamorphosize from the ghetto, maybe ghetto in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, to
No
become
ghetto.
to become a renowned
Yeah.
and a global influence in the world of
Mm,
IT. How were you able to do that?
yeah. So thanks, right? And thanks for the honor, right? Yeah. So I just want to clarify what you said, right? Not ghetto, because all this context is very important, right? It's good
Yeah.
for someone to know where someone is from, to know
Mm,
why. Yeah, in order to know why someone is like that, just like the question you asked, right? So I'm not from like where I'm from PH, I know, but I would say I'm from like a higher middle class, right? I know, like higher middle class, because I think that information, because that has helped me so much and has given me so
mm,
much like, opportunities and like this. So I think it needs to be said. But then again, what I will talk about and my
mm,
story, right, is more of like a ghetto story, because even though I'm from a higher middle class, there's no one that
mm,
was doing anything that related to technology. And I
mm,
never knew anything about code, never knew anything about software. I never knew anything about like, when you have someone around. For example, I was born into a family of like my father an engineer, like
mm,
engineer, right? My mother is a teacher,
mm.
right? And what
Yeah.
the brothers, doctors, and all, like everybody was in that medicine part, now the typical
Mm,
Nigerian household. Medicine part, or you become like an engineer and go and work for any oil servicing company and all, right?
mm,
So I would say my ghetto story is the going through a path that there was no one that has done it before, and there's
mm,
no one, like there's no source of truth. So I have like a presentation that I gave 3 years ago now. Maybe I can
mm.
just use it to give some context about me, because if I want to
Okay.
talk about like my background story and all, there are several
Mm,
tandems. We can go into several aspects of the story and all, right? But I
mm,
just edited the presentation beforehand. Let me share it. How can I share? Okay,
mm.
see.
Yep. You can share. We'll give you.
Yeah.
Uh. Okay. Okay. I'll add it to the station. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. So good evening, Abdul. I just saw your message. Good evening. So this is me, right, in 2018. You can see me with the white shirt. Me in 2018. I was speaking at university meetups. But before 2018, I started writing code in 2017, right? After
Mm,
I left um secondary school, high school, depending on where you're from, right? So, and how did I start writing code? my family was going through like a financial struggle, right? I lay downtown,
mm,
and my cousin told me, um, you can learn web development and make money from it, right? So as Igbo man, if you're Nigerian, if you Google the word Igbo people, you will see that one of the things they're associated with is money. And they like money. So my ear rang when I heard that, right? I know. So I started, but then again, hearing something, and many people have heard several things, but not taking action with it. But then again, I
mm,
started taking action. I started trying to figure out what to do and how to go about it. So doing that, getting into university and also learning and learning, right? So now this picture that you can see here, 2018, I've not started making any money per se, or I've not had any career growth. I was just sharing knowledge, sharing what I learned and all, right? So I edited this presentation in such a way. I just want to talk about, like I mentioned, the presentation that I gave 3 years ago in Lagos.
mm,
So this was the conference I gave the presentation in Lagos, Open Source Festival 2023. So this was, I'm just exactly the same presentation. So in this presentation, I talked about my Oscar Fest story. So Oscar Fest is the name of the um, conference, but the origin of the story is one thing that I believe and I know hits all your audiences, and even hits you, and even hits me till now.
mm,
Reaching out. That is something that changed my life, changed the way I think, and changed everything. And I
mm,
still apply it till today, right? So just to share the story, so this how the talk went. I say like when I realized that this can help, what happened, and since then. Right? Remember, this talk is from 3 years ago, and all.
mm,
So yeah, and towards the end, I'll say sharing you some secrets and all. So before that time in 2022, yeah, I believe 2022, before that conference and all that event in 2020, I struggled a lot, right? So I have done development, like try design, get job as a product manager, intern and all, just like trying to find a way to get a career going, right? And one
mm,
thing I struggle with is tutorial hell. And I believe at every level, we all spend a lot of time learning things that we later on realize we shouldn't have spent that time doing, right? So um, but when I was at that event, so these are basically received. This is me as an internship after the internship in Port Harcourt, and all this me. I was trying design, so I was using all these tools and all. So this is code I was reading, building systems. I've written PHP, Java, Ruby. There's nothing I cannot write. But AI is helping us right now. But that time there was no AI. You have to write
mm.
everything from scratch and start over
That's
code.
true. That's true.
Yeah. So then now, yeah, this is my house in Port Harcourt, right? Then 2020, still trying code and all that. Then I got a job as a technical writer. Yeah, I started working in a company, it's a global company based out of London, collecting any like dollars per se, right? For those that are Nigeria, foreign currency and all. But then again, it's not, there's no pathway, there's not still growth, right, for the experience and
Yeah.
knowledge. Then during that event in 2022, I saw a slide with links to where one can find mentors, right? So I checked one out, Tupu, a platform. I don't know if it's still existing till now. I found someone, Bill Mulligan, and I reached out to him, right? So I reached out to him, and since I reached out to him, I'll give you more background. But since then, I've spoken at global events. Like since then, a lot of things have changed in my career. I've traveled to the US as at that time, 2023. Every year since 2022, I'm going to the US for something or the other. This year I'll be going to. I started building a company. This was how many years ago? Everything DevOps. Everything DevOps now is now my full-time gig. I've quit my previous role and all, right? And these are some pictures. This is me speaking in the US and all, and volunteering in California and all, right? So now, let me pause here. Reaching out, right, is something
Mm,
that somebody listening to me now can say now, they've already reached out. People don't used to answer them. Like, nobody used to
mm,
answer me and all and this thing. But there's something that I realized subconsciously right? Because this is lived experience. Subconsciously, not like following a blueprint, but just the way I did it worked for me, and it has been working, and it has worked for several people. How you reach out is so much important. Same way as reaching out, right? So, and because somebody I was in a conversation with an experienced engineer working in a company based out of somewhere in Eastern Europe, and he was telling me he reached out to 20 people, only one person reply him or two people reply him, and I was like, okay, two people reply you, the reply did not go forward, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. So now, why not reach out to 40 people? If two reply you out of 20, if you reach out to 40, that means statistically four will reply you.
Correct.
If you reach out to 60, that means statistically six will reply you. And it's a numbers game, right? I know. And now the thing now is, if you're not doing sales, say you will learn more of this thing. If somebody wants to do sales, they will say, "Oh, it's a numbers game." Right? But how you reach out, the strategic approach to it is more important than reaching out to a billion people or hundreds of people. I know. So, but before, okay, you can bring the slide up. But before I go to how to reach out, so this is me now, 2026. I gave that talk, remember, in 2023, telling people, showing people what I've been doing, and how it has helped me. I still kept doing the same principles, and it helped me in the past 3 years, right? Becoming a CNCF ambassador, quitting my job to become a full time on everything DevOps I've been building since, becoming a UK global talent, working with several companies and all, right? And yeah, then I can move on to the next slide. How to reach out. This just giving background. We can talk more and dissecting and question. So your message is very, very important. If somebody, I want to ask you a question, my boss, Olamide. If somebody just send you a message, hi, somebody you don't know for anywhere, will you reply the person?
I will read and not reply. Yeah. I've had that test. I've actually had those experiences, but can continue.
Yeah. So like you read and not reply, because if you reply, then I've seen circumstances that, okay, let's say I want to reply somebody that say hi. I reply the person, then the person now asks, how are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know you from anywhere, so there's no need like wasting two of us time to do back and forth and all that. I know most people are trying not to be straightforward or this thing, but everybody that is busy would appreciate straightforwardness.
Go straight to your point.
Point, right? So now this is the message that changed my life. This message, Jesus, and it's 4 years ago from today. Wow, you can see March 26th.
Can you imagine?
It's 4 years ago from today. I need to make a post about this message. Let me just add it in my notes. 4 years ago from today. Let me just add it to my notes. So this is the message that changed my life. Give me a second. Bill in 2022. So this is the message that changed my life, right? When I saw the platform, I found this guy, the Tubu platform, I found this guy. I messaged him. I told him, now I was in that position of I already have experience, right? I know. So there are three core things you can see in this message, right? I told him who I was, why I'm messaging him, what I've been doing, and where I want to be. That's one thing people miss. They just go to say where they want to be, or they just go to say what they have been doing. Because now this saves time. And now, if you send me, now me in particular, most people that I know and that have been working for me, a long message on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on all the social media platforms, and I can check your profile and see that you're a human being. A long message that is not marketing related message and is detailed like this, I will reply you, because I will feel bad not replying you because you're taking your time to write someone long.
Yeah.
It's psychology. I've come to realize that everything is about psychology these days. Except I don't see this message. And this guy replied me, as many people have been doing. That's why I've gotten to this stage. Right? That's what I've been able to fast track my career. So I told him what I want to be, do, where I am, and all this kind of thing. right? And let me go back to his style. And I told him sorry for the much message, right? And also understanding it up. And he sent me his calendar to book a time. And few months from there, I got to work with him professionally with his company. They paid me, and towards the end of the year, I was in US, and I met him in US because he told me to apply for a scholarship. He's the one that told me to apply for a scholarship. So what I'm trying to say here by telling you this story is that people are the most important thing more than the technologies, especially now. Because with AI, you can fast track these technologies and this thing. Then without AI, without this thing, people were so important. Now is more important than ever. So why I'm saying this is the amount of people. I don't know if the audience have heard this saying your network is your network, right? The amount of people that you know and that know you and know that you are good at what you do. Several times people message me about opportunities and all, and they ask me, can I recommend somebody? And somebody comes to mind. One person or the other comes to mind. Are you the person that comes to mind in people's heads? That is something that one needs to think about, right? Because we are 7 billion people in this world, right? We are not, there are millions of millions of people. There are everybody going to studying computer science because of this thing. Everybody doing this and this thing. What to make you different? So now this is applicable to someone just getting started or thinking of getting started, someone that is already in the career, someone that is struggling and all. Because if you're good at what you do and somebody knows that you're good, now even if you don't have any experience, but you have that desire and you have done some research on knowing what you can try to do, everyone loves to help someone that have already started helping themselves. It's easier to even help that person. It's easier to show the person the way because they have a clear path, right? I know. So on Twitter, I've done hundreds of these before that 2022. You see me messaging people. I know. This one is now on Twitter. I've done some of this. Now let me go to the. So on LinkedIn, send the connection request if you're here to connect with that person you want to reach out to, right? Don't send a connection request and a message with the connection request. No. Because if I see a connection request that comes with a message, I will ignore it. And most people do because it's mostly salespeople that do all those connection requests with message.
Yeah,
Right?
correct.
So after you connected with person, let's say 3-4 days, 1 week, then you can send your message to the person. No. So now there's something I want to say that I realized this lately, and I understand this because I'm in that situation. I realized this a couple of years ago, but I understand this because they're in that situation. It's harder to get a reply from somebody that everybody is messaging than from somebody that everybody is not messaging. If somebody messages me, if I don't know you, it's harder to get a reply from me, even if you're sending the message as detailed as what I said. It's harder to get a reply from me because I'm very active on LinkedIn. So I get hundreds of messages on a weekly basis. Right? So my DM is flooded. So now, if you really want to reach out to me, one of the best strategies of me or somebody that is very, very busy, or I will not say very busy, or somebody that's on a platform that they are very active there. If somebody have 20,000 followers or so and listen, if you want to, you have to think about a way to break through the noise. You have to take an alternative route. Maybe you can try to find my personal email address. Maybe you can try to message me on another platform that I'm not really active, on Instagram. Right? Maybe you can try to find me on Twitter. I don't open Twitter these days. Or you can reach out to somebody that know me personally, that is connected to me, and say, hey, you're trying to reach out you're trying to get to me and this thing. So now this applies to every person. So if you want to reply to somebody, if somebody has a large following on a particular platform, chances of getting faster reply is not through that platform. So now let me go to another way. So emailing. I said a screenshot of how I was volunteering in California. How did it this thing? I tried to tweet at this guy to message him on his DM on LinkedIn, on Twitter. But this thing that I'm saying of when you are in a platform that is crowded, somebody that is very busy in a crowded platform, they can't see your message. So for 2 weeks, I was trying to get this guy to reply me on Twitter. I was asking him, the guy for the volunteer. Then and I found his email for the conference email, and I mailed him. Brother, within 1 hour, the guy replied me. I've been trying to reach out to somebody for 2 weeks on Twitter, but there is so much concentration and saturation on that particular platform that he can't keep track of all the messages. So when I now found that email online and I mailed the emails, same message I've been sending to him and listen, and I explained myself where I am, what I want to do, and this thing. He replied me within 1 hour. And I was in California in the next 2 months. So this thing now I'm saying is across to everybody. It works. Now, because I've been doing it before I started growing in my career. I've still been doing it now, and it has been working for me. Then the last thing I'll say is always remind people, right, before we go down, because we're almost half of the time, always follow up with people. Because you can send somebody a message, they might be busy or they might see it, not be able, like everybody has a life, right? I know. So always follow up with people. And someone that I messaged, he didn't reply me because he was busy. He said, thanks for following up. Then now there's something that is very important and a lot of people miss. If someone that is where you want to be tells you to do something, do it. Except you cannot do it at all, do it. Because that is how, that's what has been a game changer for my career. When I talk with these people that are where I want, and they tell me, do this, I do it and I see the results. And now you not only see the results, but you will pass a message to them that you're an active person and you're hungry for growth. There you can build lifelong connections. Now, this guy that I reach out to now is a friend. I can call him anytime. I can text him anytime. And he works at Cisco now because Cisco bought this company. And he tells a lot of people about me. And that's how my network keep growing. So we are all humans. AI has not taken over the world yet. We are all humans. So
Not yet.
Not yet. That's what I say. So another thing now I want to say, right, before we go into other phase of the business, is easier. Like if you want to, for example, I've been 8 years plus in my career. If somebody is trying to, if asking for somebody that just getting started, asking me for advice, I can give you advice. The level of my advice, the value of my advice is more saturated because time has passed between when I was in your situation.
Yeah, you're right.
Changed. Right? So if you want to be somewhere, it's best to look for somebody that is just above where you want to be. And then reach out to them because you have a higher chances of them replying you. One. Also, they give you advice that is more recent because they just left your situation or position a couple of months ago or a couple of years ago. And that is what has helped me. And that is how I've been implementing, and that's how I've been following it bumper to bumper. And that's how career and everything has been growing rapidly. And all right. So that is the end of my TED talk
Wow.
I think. So yeah.
That's a lot. Let's start from your presentation, right? From my experience, right? I was speaking to someone. I said I joined LinkedIn. I joined LinkedIn in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was when I joined LinkedIn, 2012, right? But I didn't I didn't become part of LinkedIn until last year, maybe early last year. right? And even when I became part of LinkedIn early last year, I was just there just to look for opportunities. That was the
Yeah.
intention, just to look for opportunities. Because they told me if you want to get good jobs,
Mm.
it's LinkedIn. Until I saw your post somewhere, right? Like, man, there is more to there is more to LinkedIn than there's more to LinkedIn than looking for jobs. And from there, I focused on building a community of professionals around me, building my network. You understand?
Mm.
Creating visibility for myself. Right? I wasn't
Yeah.
looking for the job. Eventually, I got a job that I was okay with. Then from there, and I saw that what I was chasing then
Mm.
started looking for me. Right. I mean, like you mentioned, every now and then there's always a message of there is this opportunity somewhere. Are you interested? There is opportunity. Yeah, can we do a quick call? Let me tell you about the
Mm.
opportunity. I'm like, no, no, you understand, right? And that came from not focusing on landing a job, changing the intention of me being in that on that
Mm.
platform, not looking for a job, but creating an affluence, creating creating a feed of networks, professional networks for myself. Now, most we are in the world of social media, social media recruitment.
Mm.
Internet recruitment and all. And one of the things, if you jump to LinkedIn now, for example, for me, if I jump to LinkedIn now,
Mm.
70% of the content on my LinkedIn are related to my field.
Yeah.
Uh, might not be relevant to what I want, but they are
Mm.
related to my field. Now, my question is for someone who is trying to create visibility for themselves. All right. One of the things you mentioned in your journey was you were proactive, right? Making yourself visible, either by sharing on LinkedIn or by reaching out to people,
Mm.
right? For someone who is just starting, right? How do you think they can navigate through that noise, right? Well, like
Mm.
you said, so someone who just bought laptop yesterday is now a DevOps engineer. It's not a DevOps engineer, right? It's not a DevOps engineer, right? So, and everybody's now posting on LinkedIn, just like
Yes. Yes.
Facebook and Twitter, right? Now, how do you navigate through that noise, right? Make yourself visible and build that network of professionals that you spoke about.
Mm. That's a very good question. Thanks for giving me the background, right? So you mentioned something that somebody that just bought a laptop yesterday, today is a DevOps engineer. It happens, and like it's not even today that it's not happening. Since time immemorial, there is always that situation of everyone want to fake it to make it one, or people running faster than their shadow. I mean that's the adage they used to tell us when we were small. Don't be faster than their shadow, something. So I would say doing good work. It's that simple. Doing good work. And a lot of people say, oh, doing good work. The next question is, I don't have work now, I'm just starting. But the beauty of software is that it is permissionless. You don't require any permission from anybody to do anything in software. If you have a laptop, even with your phone now, you can start building projects. You can start contributing to open source. So that should be your ideal pathway. Building projects, right? Trying to contribute to open source. Because now, when you will start building projects, right, and then you do the very next thing, which is talk about it. I don't mean talk about it from an influencer vibes, but talk about what you're building, your learnings, and all. You may not be posting every day like how I do, because now I have so many things that I've done over years, and I have a repository of things to talk about, right? Which a lot of people lose sight of and start creating you're creating content just for content's sake when there's no quality. Yeah. So for me, right, and that's something I advise against. That's why I even the program that I launched, right, I say it's for seniors. because you really need to have something before you can give something, right? I know. But juniors can also, people that are starting can also do so, but not, they should not lose sight of themselves. So now, as you're building projects and you're talking about it, open source is a beautiful thing because with open source, you get to meet people, connect with people. And most people in open source today, right? Before you get very rude people, but today people are more open and more willing to help. So if you find a project that you can contribute to and you reach out to, that is it, you reach out to the person, the maintainers or the somebody in the project or no, right? I did a talk about this and I explained in detail. Maybe I can share the talk after. I went through how the step by step on how to do something like this, right? So when you reach out to that person now, you're cutting through the noise because you're actually going to do good work. You actually want to do work. And most times it's for free. But now that gives you experience that will help you for your real job that you get later down the line. And you can end up getting job in that company. I know people that have contributed to open source project and later they were hired full time. I have that similar experience, right? I know. So to cut through the noise, that is a perfect approach. First, learn, build things. Other option, and which can do two of them in tandem, try to get into open source community because you grow your network from there, you meet people from there, and you cut through the noise because you're doing good work. Right. I know. So yeah.
So now, let's talk about imposter syndrome. I wrote about it a few days ago on LinkedIn, and what I wrote was actually based on personal experience. I started IT in 2015, right? And I've learned everything, right? But I wasn't master of all because I started with .NET framework, software design, and I was doing it, and that feeling of you are not just good enough. I mean, you see a job advert somewhere, and you see all the requirements, and you look at yourself and like, when am I going to be fit for this job? Maybe I should just go and do something else. You understand? Then from .NET framework, I started learning C language, going to Java. Eventually, in 2017, 18, I finally settled for HTML and CSS because it was simple. Right. So I became a web developer, and I got tired of it. I moved to cybersecurity. I did data analysis before I now settled in cloud engineering. Right. I mean, the experiences are good, right? If I'm speaking in a very big engineering team now, I can relate to almost everything, right? It's good, right? But I didn't become that by design, right? It was it was situational. Now, most of the persons I've spoken to, their greatest fear is being left behind, not being able to amount to what you see online. You see this person 13 times certification. I mean, like, God, how am I going to? These are the persons I'm competing with, right? Maybe I should just settle for. Maybe I just settle for writing content or just shooting videos. Now, how do you cope with the feeling of am I good enough? That imposter syndrome. Maybe this is not the right path for me. Maybe I'm not intelligent to be in this field. So let me ask you, have you ever experienced that in your journey as an engineer? And how were you able to come out of it? How were you able to overcome it? And what would you advise people who are in that situation of maybe this is not the right path for me?
That's a very good question. I have imposter syndrome now. Because I'm talking to you now, I have imposter syndrome. So why I say I have imposter syndrome is like I have that feeling that I cannot build any longer because I've not been building on a day to day.
Mm.
So what I'm saying now to everybody listening to this now or later in the future, imposter syndrome is a forever something, right? Like, and everyone goes through it at every point in time. There's one saying, there was one thing I've come to realize, like, this life is all about moods, right? Sometimes you say, oh God, I'm too good. You just did something and all. Sometimes you see like, oh, what am I doing and all. So the thing that how I approach it, or how I tell people to approach things like importance syndrome is, I don't believe in labels. So like, yeah, I know that I've been diagnosed ADHD and all those things. Me, I have ADHD. I know that I'm not normal in like normal human being brain makeup and all. But I choose not to own it. What I mean own it, like choose not to use it as an excuse, right? And all. So importance syndrome, as you were talking now, because me self not really know the meaning. I went to go and Google it. I have it on the other side of my screen. Importance is psychological a psychological experience of persistent self-doubt and fear of being exposed despite evidence of success. So the thing is how I approach it, and this may be wrong. I'm not a psychologist, one. This may be very wrong. Is anytime that I'm feeling like I'm not good enough is something, right? I just say I see it as a calling or a need to try to get better. Right? It's weird. I know it's counterintuitive. I see it as a need to try to get that. Like now, I'm feeling that I'm not building enough. Then I'm having this all that, oh, I need to get back to building. I want to create home lab. I've been saying that forever. I've not really done it and all that thing. So it doesn't really, the way it doesn't really like solve the problem of like imposter syndrome, right? I know. But once I can do that, that's one. I know that I evaluate where I need to grow. That's one. Then the other thing now is that in business, for example, I've been doing business for the past 1 year plus now, full time. So it's different when you're doing business on the side and when you're doing business full time and when you're doing business not at all. So I've gotten a lot of imposter syndrome in the fact that I'm like, oh, like what am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. I say, but this question I keep asking myself, I'm still doing it. It's helping people. It's helping myself. I'm not homeless yet. You get that kind of thing. So I look at like I evaluate the reality of things, right? Because for example, in business, you're delivering a service to customers.
Mm.
Oh, and sometimes you cannot get information on data on the results and some confidential metrics, right? And all from those people. And then, but when I know that at the end of their contract, they want to renew again, then I know that I'm good enough. So this is maybe the wrongest psychologist and therapist they should correct me, or maybe I really need to say therapist. But the approach is you just need to one. Let me do it in three. Right, one, evaluate your current situation. Right, is that thing that you're doing, is it serving you and helping and serving the world? So it may be serving a business, serving somebody, serving your company you're working for. Is there a service? Yes, everything is not perfect. There may be some mistakes and all, but is there a service to it? That's one. Then two, is there a way I can improve to get better? So now if you look at it, you look at those two things now, you will now see that it's a consistent journey. Because you will always come to a point that you feel like you're not good enough, that you feel that you're not worthy of this thing that you're in. Then if you now do those two things and evaluate your situation, that's why you now keep being this thing. Then the third one I would say is I don't want I want to be very picky with my words. I would say is that if you worry too much about the labels, psychology, and all these things, like and all these words that we throw around, nothing for you. Like that is it may be too hard or too bland because one thing I see that people I've lately I've been speaking to a lot of people right from different countries, different tribes, different this thing. And one thing I've seen I see that we do so much of labeling that we lose sight of actually tackling our problem head on or tackling things head on because you use the labeling as an excuse,
Yeah,
right?
you're right. All right. I
So
know what you mean.
that's my
Yeah.
weird take on it.
Yeah. As an engineer, as an IT professional,
Mm.
what along your journey, what was your um what has been your the greatest challenge ever, and how were you able to overcome it? Uh, Learning, getting a job, staying in a job. I mean, before you eventually say you want to work for yourself. What was your greatest challenge growing as an engineer?
Mm. So I would say one of my greatest challenge is that my path has been so unconventional, and so it's so hard to explain myself because my path has been so unconventional. There's a good side, just like you said, you know, when you've worked at on everything, you know a little bit about everything, right? And all. But also, when you've worked at this thing, it's so hard for someone to pinpoint what exactly you're doing and to trust you or something. So one of my challenges early on, going for 3 years tutorial here, trying different things, I could never get a job because on paper I'm not good enough. I could not get a job through the normal applying for job because on paper
Mm.
I'm not good enough. All the jobs I've ever gotten is people reaching out to me or me reaching out to somebody. It's not true applying. I'm the worst person for applying for a job. That's why anytime someone asks me for CV review and they said, I've never had a successful CV that's gotten me any job. I know. So that's has been my greatest challenge, right? It may be weird saying it now, but then it was my greatest challenge because it's so hard to like get into the door, and that's why I think that's why I figured out this unconventional route, which in hindsight is the fastest and easiest route because you cut through the noise of the CV, you go directly to people, you have meaningful conversations. I know. So yeah.
Just a thought. Now, reaching out to people, does that not make you seem desperate? Reaching out to people, sending people cold email, cold messages. Uh, did you feel desperate at any point, or you just felt like I have to follow this path? I have to follow the unconventional way.
Hmm. So I would say it can be cringy. You can feel desperate, and I felt desperate in several times. But the other way to look at it is what I said earlier, right? Worry less about emotion and all. And now the thing is the way I've come to there's this I'm cracked. I know that I'm weird in most times, but but you need to understand that if you're normal in this world, you will be average. That's the sad truth. You have to be abnormal. I'm not saying abnormal in a negative way, but you have to be doing things that are not unconventional. So now the way I look at it is I'm feeling weird. I'm feeling coming off as desperate. But if that message I send will get to me to where I want to go, that is much more important than feeling desperate or feeling cringe. That is much more, and nobody really cares because now, if I ask you, can you remember the post you saw today on LinkedIn since you came online? Can you remember it? Nobody really cares. Right? So nobody really cares, especially now when you want to post on LinkedIn. So people say, "Oh, I'm feeling cringy or need this." I'm not saying obviously you must know the boundary between personal and private life, right? But nobody really cares, right? And once you understand that nobody really cares, the way you be approaching things will be different. And now another thing is always ask. I'm a axer. I had a contract that was costing me $1,300 every month, but it was not reaping the reward. But I was locked in because it's a 4 months contract that was my business was spending. And I looked at this thing, I'm like, I have to contractually, I have to pay for this next month, but it has not been serving me. It's not worth it to say. So I composed a message that if you read it, it sounds desperate because I need cash flow. I'm managing a business. I have people's salary that are more important. But as I say, they broke me out of the contract. And they offered me more services in order to try to recoup all the money that I
So,
had.
uh,
So a closed mouth, that's old saying, a closed mouth is a closed destiny. So open your mouth, carry your hands at this thing because the people that get past feeling desperate, get past cringe and all, and that ask things, that talk about things at this thing. Yeah. If you go through my DMs every day, I'm asking somebody something. Every day. Not everybody will say yes. But like I mentioned, right, if two people reply you, that means four, and you double your number of people you're reaching out to, extra two people can reply you. So that is it, right? And it's not going to be easy at first, but yeah.
I, I, I I want to summarize what I've gotten from
Mm,
everything everything we've said so far. Um, you mentioned a phrase which a lot of persons might consider a glitch. Your network is your net worth, and in a world where everybody's on LinkedIn,
mm,
right? Internet has broken
mm.
barrier, accessibility barrier,
Yeah,
right? If I want to talk to the director of Cisco, for example, now,
yeah.
right? 20 years ago, you probably will have to send a letter
Yeah,
that will take 20 days. They will say, you understand? But now you can send a DM, right? But despite having that access,
yeah.
that opportunity, a lot of persons still find it very difficult to uh, land a job, grow on LinkedIn. I
Mm,
know you've talked about it, but because we are rounding up, I just want you to flog the matter just a
mhm.
little bit. For people who are just coming up in their career, right? Professionally, this is professionally. How can they leverage on the pool of professionals we have on LinkedIn, right? You have almost every professional is on LinkedIn. How can they how can they leverage on it? Uh, what should they be looking for, right? I mean, as an engineer who's just coming up, should I concentrate on sending connections, LinkedIn connections? Should I concentrate on message or looking for job opportunities? Or what should be my priority and how should I pursue that priority on that professional platform such as LinkedIn?
Mm. So I would say a little bit on everything on LinkedIn. Let's say, but you go to your core focus. If your core focus is getting a job, obviously you'll be more on the you using all the LinkedIn job features and all, right? But the most important thing that I would say you should always be doing wherever you are, especially for someone is getting started, do good work. Be doing good work. I've had conversation with CEO of GitLab in 2022. 2020, he bought me a laptop. CEO of GitLab is a billionaire. I was in Rumukurushi in Port Harcourt, chatting with CEO of GitLab, a billionaire, and he was responding to my message. Why? Because I've done good work. And I could show him. So now this good work is the yardstick of measurement because when the time that someone will finally answer you or someone will finally connect to you, you need to be ready for your opportunities. You need to be ready for when the door is open. So that story goes like he wanted to buy laptops for a lot of people in the COVID that were affected by COVID or people that that represented background and all. And I've had several projects I've been building. I DM'd him. I didn't even know if it was real, but I just tried. I DM him, and he went through the things I sent to him, my certificates and all those things, and the projects I built. And he sent me $1,000 out of the blue. So now I was ready. If I messaged him and just telling him that like I have this dream, I'm not saying working on the dream and all this thing. Nobody cares about your dream. What are you doing towards the dream? So the most important thing you can do, forget the platform, forget anything, is to do good work. Because if you do good work, then now start connecting with people, going to conferences, reaching out to people and all. You have that good work to match any English to get in front of people. And so when you opportunities that are meant for you, I'm not saying meant for you as an opportunity to be sitting down waiting for you. When you see the right opportunity that you chase, when you chase it, you will get it. Because you already have that bank of good work. So do good work. Less of,
Yeah.
if you already started, less of social media and more of good work. Because
Let,
so that's it.
less of social media, more of good work. If any of our viewers have any question, you can just pop it in as we round it up. Now, cloud native engineer. If someone wants to become a cloud native engineer today, focus on cloud native, what roadmap would you advise? What tools would you advise them? Now, I mean, tools are evolving now as we have it. What routes would you advise they take to learn, probably as a beginner or someone who's just transitioning? What should I learn first, then after what, and then after what, to be able to say I'm a cloud native engineer or I'm a cloud engineer?
Yeah, so there's this roadmap I've been sending to people over the past 3-4 years or so. So it's called the DevOps roadmap. It was created by Sayam. He's a head of engineering on one of these big clouds, vCluster, one of these big companies. So that is a practical for DevOps engineering. I'm trying to get the link. That's why I'm looking at my other monitor. So I don't know where I can send it. I can send it in the chat for you to share
You
it.
can send it. You can send it in the chat. I'm sure they'll be able to pick it.
Yeah, so I can't join
This is
the general chat, but I send it in private chat, right? I know. So that's a good.
my LinkedIn one.
Okay, let me send it on
Did
LinkedIn.
you did you
Let
send
me
me
send
LinkedIn? I can just copy and paste.
So that is a good roadmap that shows you how to get in, right? Then I also did a in-depth another way or approach is open source. It's open source that got me to where I am, right? It's open source that got me started, that got me so many opportunity. So I always recommend open source. So I did a talk a couple of weeks ago or so for CNCF Lomé, right? Lomé is the capital of Senegal, no, of Togo. So
Yeah.
I did talk of my CFCF journey on how to make your first contribution to open source. There, I referred to the talk earlier. You see step by step of how to do every single thing, like how to send messages to channels and all, like to build those connections and all those things, like to start working on our open source project. So I've sent you a link to the talk. So any person that is interested should go and work the talk. It's very in depth. So with these two things, any person that is ready can get started in open source, can get started in CNCF and become like me. Because this is literally all that I've done. But are you ready? The mindset and the ready to do work is more important than the information is out there, but the mindset and the willingness to do work is the cocoa, or I would
Are
like
you
to say
ready?
that thing. Are you ready?
All right, all right, all right. Thanks so much, Divine, for the conversation. Is there anything you would like to say? Is there any wisdom you like to drop before we call it an evening?
Yeah. I'll say something, right, that I've been saying since I had negative net worth and I was owing money to fair money. If you're Nigerian, you know what fair money is. when I was chasing an opportunity to go to London, and they gave me the L 2 days before Christmas. It's something I've been saying before I had anything. You can slowly and intentionally create the life you want. Are you ready to do the work? You can slowly and intentionally, emphasis on that slowly, emphasis of intentionally, create the life you want. Are you ready to do the work? Everything that I'm living now, if you ask people that have known me 6, 7 years ago, I said it. I know when I was in before I entered university, I said I'll become a millionaire. I'll start making money in school before I graduate. When I was saying it, one of my brothers said, how will you make money in school? This thing. So, so long as you have the mindset and the willingness, and you're ready to do the work, you can do whatever you want to achieve. Now, I'm saying this now, so you can check back. Maybe 5 years from now, you can check me. I know I'm going to be a multi-millionaire in dollars before I get to 30. I know it. I don't have the multi-millions, but I know it. And I know I'm going to buy a Porsche car. I have the miniature version of the car. I know. I know that. But now, so it's all about the dream. But like everyone has dreams. But what separates you from the average person is, are you ready to do the work and die for your dream? When I mean die, like do the work for your dream. Not everybody's ready. So if you're ready, you'll be different than anybody and you achieve whatever you want to achieve. That's the end of my preaching.
All right, all right, all right. Everyone has a dream, but not everyone is ready to put in the effort, right?
Yeah.
Are you ready to put in effort? If you set up a dream slowly and intentionally, if you put in the effort, you achieve it. Let that be the highlight you take away from this conversation. All right, thank you again, Divine, for gracing us with your time and your journey, your experience. Hope we'll see you again to
Yeah.
do something much more. So thank you for everyone who was listening, who has been here for the past 63 minutes. Thank you for joining. And once again, this is TekTribe. This is TekTalk from TekTribe. This is where we bring in professionals and experts to talk about their journey and impart wisdom into uh, um, other professionals. So, till next month, I'll see you again. We say goodbye now.